Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tree Actions podcast. This is Tony doing his best Dwayne impression because Dwayne, unfortunately, might barge in late in this and then ask all the questions all over again. But just to kind of give some context, his oldest son, DJ, is getting married next week, I believe. So you know how that kind of makes your whole world blow up. But Dwayne's excuses aside, it is my pleasure to welcome Pete, the Crane Man, to the podcast. Welcome, Pete.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Right. I was saying, Pete's one of the few, I arrange guests every once in a while. Dwayne does most of it, but Pete's one of the ones I arrange. So I know that the reason is I just don't have that many friends.
Right.
I don't know what it is. He doesn't really want to talk to me for that long.
Small circle, tight circle.
It's a small circle. But, anyway, we'll get going. Like I said, have you listened to any of the podcasts, Pete?
I did, and when you asked me, I said, when did you start doing a podcast? And then it all came to light that a couple of years ago and whatnot. So I, of course, jumped on and said, "Oh, look, friend." Those overlapping small circles we have. Yeah.
It is a small. It is a small community. I mean, we're probably never going to run out of people to talk to, but the interconnected, like if you were to draw a Venn diagram.
Oh yeah,
all the little circles would just be insane. Yes. Well, I will honor the tradition, and we will start with the question that we always start with. The only really consistent part of our podcast is, can you tell us or relate to us when your earliest memories of trees affecting your life, or I don't know, Dwayne phrases it better, but just being something that you remember influencing you?
That jumped me all the way back into childhood in the yard. We were just before we started here, we're talking about the property that my grandfather bought in 1948. It was a sheep pasture and is now growing into a mature forest and whatnot. And the only tree that was there was like a 4 or 5 stem, but like 36-inch DBH multi-lead silver maple that, of course, my mother and her siblings all had a tree fort in. So even when I was of the young age growing up on the same property, that was our tree fort. But the fort was kind of gone, but being a multi-stem, it was so massive that you could just kind of climb up into the middle of the crotches and just hang out in there, and you're all of like 5 feet off the ground, but felt like you were really small in a really big place kind of thing. And I don't know why that your question brought me to that little memory there.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. A lot of people kind of go back to very early childhood and tree experiences, whether they got into whether they're arborists or not. We've had a couple people on the show that aren't in arboriculture.
Yeah. I still hold I'm not an arborist, not even a tree guy.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You're not even a tree guy.
Not even a tree guy.
Not even a tree. Well, what are you? That's the question.
I guess I'm a crane operator, entrepreneur, small business owner. I did coin a phrase way back when I was employed by somebody else that said it's it was obviously in relation to being a crane operator, that it's not just a job, it's a career and a lifestyle. But it's just kind of, that was my personality coming out, and that you kind of get over involved into anything, and the job is now a career because you like it and you're going to stick with it. I mean, usually career job tends to be the availability of benefits as well, I guess. So, but the thing that you can be passionate about it and stick with it, and that was probably right around the time that I wasn't just doing like traditional crane work. I was doing the tree removal part, and that's the part that I probably became so passionate with and engaged with, and thereby got to hang out with all the people like you that all that 30 years ago now almost.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
So you started out as a crane operator working just regular crane work, like roofs, trusses,
air conditioner, all that type of stuff.
I lift heavy stuff. I put it down. And slowly branched over while you're working for somebody else into, because I don't know your origin story, oddly enough.
Okay, yeah. Well, I started at Bauman Crane in 1999, February 15th, 1999.
Valentine's Day.
Well, the day after.
The day after, that's right.
And we arranged that just so I could have the day off. You quit one job and you always take a day off before you start your next job. I don't remember the day of the week it was, but
The day I took like 6 months. Like fuck it.
So I started back then, and just got right to it. Was kind of, I hate saying natural at it, but I've always been an equipment operator, a mechanic. I mean, my military service, I was a mechanic. So, but oddly, I mean, you know how that story rolls out, that when you go to your AIT and you actually know more already than they're teaching you. It's kind of a thing. Shade tree mechanic, So we just naturally fit into the whole world of equipment operating, and then of course you get to. Seems like every crane company I know of, you're also a mechanic and maintenance guy and everything else, because of course everybody I think that has equipment that you have to become a mechanic.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, it's like I'm not a mechanic, and I would never. I'll pretend to be one, but I am pretty good at working like on chippers and chainsaws because
specific pieces.
You just kind of have to. I'm not going to call myself chainsaw mechanic or a chipper mechanic, but I do a little
get
bit
you more work if you did.
I don't want to be that. Go into robot repair is what I'm going to go into. But I wouldn't. It's like, but you work because your job's dependent on it, right? Mm-hmm. So when it breaks, something goes wrong. Like, well, if I don't fix it, who is?
Yeah, nobody.
Right, exactly.
The necessity becomes some saying there, But so that was it, and then actually, and I think for me that the timing just became a really good thing, because the early 2000s. It's not that cranes hadn't been being used on tree work before that point, but it was becoming definitely a more popular. I remember there was a time that I was even criticizing my own work, saying we're just part of like some weird trend. I don't know if you remember that. There was a time it just seemed like it was trendy that everybody it had to be a crane removal. You can't just rope this thing down anymore. We gotta bring some big iron in here and really make a show of it.
I think it's still true though. Like, for a lot of it's like for the very early part of my career, it's like crane work was the exception. Like, in the first, 10, maybe 8 years of my career, a lot of that was part time, right, going to school.
Yeah.
If my brother and his his partner, whose name was Pete as well too, if we did one crane removal, like in Ben's first 10 years in business,
right,
and then in a 3-year span, I went to doing one a week.
Right.
3 a month on average, and then even more.
Yeah.
Some of it was, I don't know, and now I think it might even be worse. You've run into more of them than I do. I run into tree companies. If they don't have a crane, they don't know how to cut a tree down.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, you hand them a block and a sling, and they're like, what's that?
What? Huh?
What? Huh? You want me to, huh? What's that for?
I always say I have the privilege of working with the best and the worst in the industry, and I never call them by name, but those guys, the guys that when you say the crane can't do it, and they literally just they lose it. They just don't know what to do when the crane can't do it, and it's like, but it's a crane job. We sold it as a crane job. Like, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Maybe you should have called a crane guy to come look at it before you committed it to it.
Maybe if you're going to ask the impossible, maybe you should have called it a UFO job.
Right.
It's a UFO job. Where's the UFO?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of one of those. My very first crane had a sticker on the operator's cab door from the previous owner, and I actually still want to either make it into a shirt, which it probably already is, but it said, "Poor planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine." Exactly. And the fact that it was a huge sticker, like right on the operator's cab door, almost became a little bit of a mantra in the beginning, because it was like you're kind of going for everything, but at the same time, smart enough to know just don't try everything. Just because your boom reaches it doesn't mean you can actually pick it up. Bad things will happen.
Well, do you get the same equipment ignorance in construction or setting trusses?
Yes.
guys will call you up and you're like, look, I can't move that over there from where I'm at. And they're like, well, what do you mean? It's like,
it is.
Like, yeah,
it is across the board, all industries. Even just a lot of it. We know there's some language barriers and whatnot, and as soon as I get the language barrier part, I automatically, and it's probably nothing backing this, but I automatically start thinking, well, they don't know anything. It's like, well, some of them just can't speak the language, but they're actually engineers, doctors, and they just happen to be working carpentry.
Right.
But yeah, the whole thing of just set it all the way over there, and they point literally across a whole job site, and it's like what? Huh?
Yeah.
How did you think? And some of it is just they just don't have that knowledge. So once you give it to them. Now they know. I'm always quick to pull out that 100-foot tape measure. That's pretty much live and die by my 100-foot tape measure. You pull it out and you show them. This is how far I can go with 1,000 pounds, right here. So
right here. Right.
So I can pick it up from over there, put it over here, break the crane down, go the same distance past it, and I can do this hopscotch thing all the way across your job site and set up and break down as many times as you're willing to pay me to. So if that's what we want to do, But yeah, it's for real, and they're all guilty of it.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I was kind of figuring it would be that way, but I think arborists were alone in their ignorance of crane work.
No,
and
it's with all the fields, it's like that. The evidence of the guy with the most experience, even whether it's an HVAC guy or a tree guy, when he tells you, when he orders schedules the job, orders the crane, the HVAC guy tells me it's 85 feet from center to pin. And I'm like, to pin or to edge of roof? He goes, no, I went 25 feet past the roof to give you your center of pin. I figured you could. And it's like, as soon as they start dumping the info that they've compiled, you go, all right, I can trust this guy. He knows.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And the guys that say, I think a 36 should be all right. I'm like, well, I have 36, 45, or 55 ton, so yeah.
Yeah, it's so true for so much of tree work, right? You watch somebody climb for 2 minutes, and you can tell if they have a skill set or not. Watch somebody run a chainsaw, you can tell if they have a skill set or not. But crane work adds another whole nother dynamic, into it. And like I said, I think the worst part about tree crane work is done well, it looks so simple.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
From the outside looking in, if you're standing on the curb and you're watching a good crane operator and everything's working well, it's like, wow, look how easy that is.
Yeah,
they just hooked it on and it went away. He
Yeah.
picked it up and look, he dropped it right over there, and it's wow,
right
that's
behind the chipper. Cleanup is nothing. Yeah.
Whereas opposed to the big complex rigging job where you got 3 ropes and 4, and it looks all over the place and it works well, but it looks complex. It's wow,
and
those guys are really good.
A whole bunch of time to set up and whatnot.
Right.
Makes that 15, 20-minute crane setup look like it just instantaneous.
Right. But I do remember when we first started doing more, the first couple crane removals we got into the reason we were doing it was space restrictions. So we were working in Lancaster City, big trees, tight places. There was just no. You could rig it down rope and saddle or out of a lift, but you would be rigging 3 days. Just 3 days. And then you'd get to the wood and you'd be like, what the?
What am I doing with this?
I can't cut it small enough to tie a rope onto it.
Send the axe up. I'm just going to split it on the stem. Yeah.
That ended up being the genesis of starting a lot. And then once you start using it and get comfortable with, mostly the crane company gets comfortable with you.
Right.
Then you start to find yourself using it more and more. And then it became we were using it for, obviously hazardous trees. There were some you just couldn't. I'm not climbing that. There's not rigging off of that.
Yeah.
My favorite story, and you've probably heard this too, it's when my dad was still working with us, doing sales. And there was this sycamore tree in the back, and I had heavy lean, so just roughly it's probably 30 inches DBH.
Right.
Maybe 65, 70 feet tall, but it had a pretty heavy lean over the house. And there was this torsion split on the main trunk, so the whole thing is basically just twisting and splitting down the grain.
Ugh, yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's bad. Like,
Right.
It's
right.
like, I get out there and I'm like, Dad, you told him to get out of the house, right? Like,
Yeah.
because I would not be in the house. Like,
Yeah.
it just,
Oh
it's
yeah.
that
I
bad.
wouldn't want to see anybody in the house.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, the homeowner, calls like every tree company in the, and
Yeah. Just
the thing. And the funniest part about it is the guy came up and he says, well, and my dad's like, he called me out there because he's like, how are we going to get a crane in here? Because
Right.
it's the only way to. And we actually, in the end, we did the job, but we didn't actually crane the piece. We put the basket on the end of a crane and just basically cut and chunked it.
Yeah.
You couldn't get a big enough crane to pick a piece that. So
Right.
we just basically secured it with rope. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, another tree company comes up and goes, "Yeah, I got a guy. He'll do it for $1,000. He just got out of jail. He'll climb it." I'm like,
no intentions of going back to jail, I guess. Yeah.
I
You're gonna
guess.
die
I
in the
guess
tree.
I'm gonna do it. But that was sort of the. I think I'd always known the disparity of attitudes in tree work.
Right.
But that was the one. It's like, wow, really?
Yeah.
That's. And I swear, if we hadn't done the work. And I mean, even the homeowner was like a little bit shocked. He's like, I can't do that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. I don't even feel right about that.
I don't care if it's basically $5,000 less than what you guys are going to charge me.
Right.
Because,
He was aware of that whole when there's that much of the price gap, there's something not right.
right.
Whether
That
it be
was
more expensive or too cheap is actually a problem too. Because that's always the thing.
So when did you start Crane Man?
2008, May 1st, 2008 was opening day for Crane Man. And part of that story too is yours and my annual get-togethers, Crane School, and then we always seem to catch up at TCC at the Pendel climbing competition. That I used the climber comp 2008. I don't know if you remember where we were that year. It was at. You want to try and guess? I see your wheels turning. No?
Longwood? No.
It was closer to home for me. It was.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was. Oh no, I forgot the name. That's our Hope Lodge in by 73 and 309 area. I'm trying to think of what we'd call that, but right outside of Fort Washington State Park, which we did a crane school at years later. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I showed up with the crane and just set it up down, kind of away from everything, static display type of thing. Just set up, put the boom up in the air, and it was all lettered Crane Man and everything already. And I just, started walking around talking to everybody. I think Thigpen was running Footlock or something that year, and I remember just standing there talking with Rob, and then Tatey walked up, and he kind of said something, and I think one of the two of them was like, "Whose crane is down there?" And I was like, "Oh, that's mine." And it was kind of like that nobody even realized, because they were already associated with me, and just didn't notice it wasn't the same name on the truck anymore that they associated.
Right.
So it's the exact same crane, same model,
right.
Same everything, almost the same year. So it was just kind of one of those. I showed up. So that part of that kind of has Crane Man forever connected, at least for me, to the climber comp. I mean, obviously it's where all my friends are hanging out anyway, and I've always been really excited to watch the kids play in the trees, kind of thing.
Right.
So I'll hopefully always be part of it, partially because of the beginning,
Yeah, that's cool. I
Yeah.
hadn't realized that was the first. I don't specifically remember. If I saw the trees, I'd remember them. But I don't remember the site.
It was, just one of those stone buildings and trees around it and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, I competed for 12 years straight,
Okay.
and they all blend together.
Right.
So I remember things, but I don't remember where.
Right. Right.
I do remember the Masters Challenge. I lost to Roach by 3 points.
Yeah.
And that was 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, well, but that's all right.
Yeah.
I think it was, yeah, because it would have been Minneapolis that year. I remember the international sites more often, mostly because I had to travel there, so it cost me money. So they're etched in my mind.
Brutal, yeah.
Right. Well, for a long time there, I would ride the motorcycle out for the ITCC. So I'd either ship my gear, or try and strap it all to the back of a motorcycle and haul my ass across the country.
Look as gypsy as possible.
Yeah. Exactly, like some sort of Jed Clampett tree guy on a BMW motorcycle ripping across the country. But it was cool.
Did a pole saw fit on a motorcycle? Or
no, I stopped using those things. I don't use them anymore. They hurt my pride, my professional pride. But,
yeah.
So, and then when you started Crayman, I mean, you started specifically tree, right? I mean, that was
it wasn't. I mean, it was. It had already been, because my personal specialty had become tree work. So the customers that were calling Bauman looking for, requesting me every day and whatnot. So I had grown this customer base of tree companies. So just naturally, the ones that called me were the tree guys. I've always said we'll do anything the crane can safely do, and somebody's willing to pay us to do. I mean, we've done pizza ovens, pianos, roll a carpet out of a third-story window because somehow the stairs didn't work. I don't know the reason. I didn't ask. If they're paying my bills, I'm just thankful for them.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But yeah, so it was primarily in that and I still to this day, we're going into 18 years now. We're in our 18th year. I'm not great with that. Those kind of math numbers elude me. But it's still it's been like 99% of the company's work is tree work. So we do the couple air conditioners, a couple trusses, and every time I try and do the math to figure it out, it always comes out to it's basically just 99%,
Right.
Of all the cranes. I mean, the most cranes I've ever had running was, I guess that was like 2020, 21. We had 7 cranes running. We have 4 running now with me. We still have 8 cranes, but they just sit there and wait for somebody to run them. It's nice to have spares when you have things that break down and help with maintenance issues and whatnot. So yeah, really expensive spares, but
exactly.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
we always let the customer demands drive the business. I've never been that guy. It was like, I want 20 cranes and 25 employees, and I've never had anything on that. No offense to any employee out there ever, but every employee is just the owner's headache. It's one.
Oh yeah.
It's just the nature of the beast. And I always feel like, well, as soon as you work for me, like now I'm responsible for your mortgage and your kids also.
Oh yeah.
Indirectly, but yeah,
right.
It's how I view it. I got to make sure that we're all good. Everybody. Including their family as well. So it's something I've always taken very seriously. I don't know who embedded it in my head, but good.
It's like there's phases to it, right? Like you can like trees and like the work, but you have to be a business owner too, right? And
oh yeah,
I've seen it through my brother Ben. And unfortunately, I'm not a dumb person, but sometimes it takes me a while to catch on. But it took me a good 7 years to figure out that working for the family company, if Ben went out of business, I just go get another job. It'd take me a week,
right?
At the most, if that, right? Not that I'm that great, but it wouldn't be hard to do. He'd lose everything, right?
Right.
Would be a severe financial setback. And then it's like, if I get a little pissed at work, that just affects me. Like,
right.
He had, 15, 18 people working for him, all of them counting on that paycheck.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So it's a different, once you can I don't think what I missed is I didn't understand that there's personal decisions and then there's business decisions. Right.
100%. Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to make a business decision regardless of the personal part of it. And it's like,
yeah, that's one of those. It brings to mind lots of tree guys come to me to ask which crane they should buy. And I'm like, you shouldn't buy any crane. And that's not just because I'm the guy you're renting it from. I'm just telling you have no business owning a crane right now. Like
Right.
there's certain people that just should or shouldn't, or you know, you have to say the whole like, well, there is no one size fits all either. Like, you know, it's you got to pick which one's going to do the most of what you do, you know, and then that would be a good starting point. Go for what will do most of what you do, because you know, you're never going to hit them all. You know, we all get these one size fits all baseball caps, and then my buddy Mike's head is just so enormous that they don't fit him.
Right.
He's got to order his special, I guess. I don't know, but
Right.
and then it's like the other side of that is I tell it becomes, even the purchase of a big piece of equipment becomes an emotional thing. It's like you get a little bit of a pride thing happening, and it's like you've got truck envy because your buddy has a bigger truck or bigger piece of equipment or shinier or whatever it is you get, and it's like so difficult to disconnect the emotion from the purchase. And that was one of my best advices to people is if you have to disconnect the emotion from it and strictly use whatever kind of logical decision-making process you can, you know, are you spending that much on whatever this piece of equipment is doing that, you know, whether it be in renting it or you need a bigger chipper, you know, or you think you need a bigger chipper just because you want to make bigger chips or more chips and not pay the log. Maybe you're paying the log guy too much, you know, to haul the logs away or whichever the case may be. But if you can analyze the whole situation and then in addition to that, remove your personal emotions from it, just because we all want stuff. And it's so hard to not let that be the driving force in those big, big purchases, you know. But, I don't know if anybody ever took that advice. I don't even know if I've taken my own advice on that.
Right. That is true. It's like, you know, it's a big piece of equipment, right? It's a big, expensive piece of equipment. And while it's extremely useful for tree care, it can be a bit niche.
Oh,
so
for sure.
one of two things happens. Either, well, if you're a tree company, then you buy a crane, you're going to do a lot more removals.
Oh.
You have to.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So
I
then
do
it
very
becomes,
little pruning with it. So
yeah, exactly. So then it becomes, then it's, you know, you have to balance that. Like, is that as an arborist,
right?
You know, is that you just really want to be all removals all the time? I mean, you know, and I tell people, you know, the same thing. It's like you got to have a serious amount of volume to own a piece of, you know, straight up. And the tree companies I've seen make it work. The truck or the crane basically becomes its own little business within the business.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yep.
So you have a good operator.
Yep.
And mostly he does tree work, or she does tree work, but then occasionally they put an air conditioner on top of a building or set trusses or.
Oh yeah.
Because you can't have it sitting around, right?
Oh yeah, yep. It's if you build it, they will come mentality that once it's there, now it has to be used, and you're gonna all those jobs that were manual last week all of a sudden became crane removals because we have it, you know, and we're not going to go out and throw a line up when we can just take the elevator and just. Even if I've seen some of the little companies, you know, the little 18-ton boom trucks, you know, 80 foot of reach, but you got to get right under the tree and whatnot.
Right.
I've literally watched them working on neighboring properties, and I'm like, wow, he's going to tackle that tree with that little teeny crane. And really, he went in, set up, boomed straight up, climber into the tree, boom came down, crane wrapped up, and went out. And I was like, no way. No, he just literally... Was that actually faster than the guy could? Maybe the guy's just not great at setting a line. You know, I don't know.
I think you could buy a Raptor or one of those battery-powered ascenders for well less than a crane.
I'm pretty sure of it. But it's like that theory, though. It's like, once you have it, you're going to use it every chance you get, I think. Right. And they just, yep, that's what we're doing. I have a funny feeling it maybe came back in once the guy got to wood. You know, maybe once he get the brush out. There's smaller cranes sometimes. It's like, utilize it for whatever it's good at, you know.
Right. I've done that before. I've done, we do big beech tree removals, and I would do the crown, basically, standard, out of a lift or climb it, rig it, whatever. And now you got this big stick of wood. You could rig it. I can't drop it because obstacles or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's right in the middle of, Mrs. Smith's patio.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we just get a crane in here and take 3 picks and just be done with it? Right.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think, using a tool for what it's designed. Could I have used the crane for the whole tree? Sure.
Yep.
But I'm not sure how much. Like, I would have been using a crane big enough to lift the trunk to lift 800-pound limbs.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, when that,
We just had, you said beach, and we just did a beach down in the heart of Westchester. The alleyway that we had to set up and just happened to have like garages offset from each other so that the alleyway then became wide enough in one spot for our outriggers to get full span, and it just was the perfect spot. But yeah, the guy came with his lift ahead of time and got as much brush out as he could, because yeah, exactly what you said. You're taking 800-pound picks that you just as easily rope them out, or even he might have been cutting and chucking.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right,
Yeah, but once you got to that wood, it's like.
I mean, if I'm cutting pieces that the ground guy can grab and drag,
right,
I probably shouldn't be hooking them to the crane. Like, it's just rude. Right.
Yeah,
it's just rude, and it can work. Like I said, I've seen tree companies but it ends up where I've seen it succeed the most is the tree company ends up with a crane company kind of embedded in the middle of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they definitely the way it happens. You almost watch, if you can stand on the outside and watch the structure shift of the organization. You kind of see it all evolve there. There's a couple of the bigger companies that are they've had. I mean, you go to the nationwide, Save a Tree and Bartlett and Davey. There's I don't even know how many cranes they own, but like in our area they don't, because I'm here, so they they're using the available assets to the area,
Well, it makes a lot of sense for them, because I think what people don't see is but there's a whole different set of regulations and licensing and insurance that goes along with a crane.
Yep.
Because what I think a lot of arborists don't understand is, like, there's no OSHA standard for arboriculture, but there is one for cranes.
Oh yeah,
right? A big one, right?
Yeah.
And they're not just going to say, which is one of the biggest debates with lifting humans with a crane into a tree.
Yeah.
Because you don't do that in construction.
No.
They'd laugh you off the job site if you're like, hey, I got to get up to the top of that tower.
Yep.
Here, let me hook up to that. You'll take me up. They'd be looking at you, be like, what?
Yeah.
Huh? Huh? Like, what?
That's always been the biggest joke that they think they're telling me is like, oh, can I just ride the hook up instead of taking the ladder up? I'm like, well, if you have an arborist saddle and a rope, I'll take you up onto the roof. And their kind of heads like, what? What do you mean that's a thing? I was just kidding. Like, I'm like, yeah, but you don't have an arborist rope and saddle to
exactly.
So you wouldn't know how to use it even if you had it, I think. So yeah, unfortunately, we've combined a whole bunch of specific skills into now another skill set that is just really a combination of multiple simpler skills. Yeah, now it's a complex skill, I guess.
And I don't think, I don't think people understand there's a lot that goes into lifting a human with a crane, or there is a lot that should go into it to do it properly, not just to meet the regulations.
Right.
Most people don't understand that everything in arboriculture is a critical lift in the crane world. It's by definition, every time, because you don't know the weight.
Yeah.
You can't.
This is a little bit of a spoiler alert for Fort Lauderdale. For somebody's talk in Fort Lauderdale, I could almost pull the slideshow up right now, and
there you go. Right.
I'm going to bring that to the attention of everybody that in the crane world, yes, there's that thing called that critical lift.
Critical lift, and everyone is.
I think I did a quick Google search of crane OSHA definition critical lift, and it was like I think we checked. We didn't check the first box, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. It was something kind of silly, but then it's like every other box we check, every lift we do, and then right off the bat, throw the human element in. We're lifting a person, or you just have that person trapped under the lift when you're making it. Not many arborists can get above the piece you're picking to make the cut. I mean, I'm challenged. Put that challenge out there for anybody that wants it. Even in a bucket truck, he's basically trapped right there. He's still under the load. So by definition, it becomes a critical lift. And
just the weight. You can estimate it,
unknown. Yeah,
but you do not know what it is. Right?
Yeah.
And then the other myriad of things that go into it, structural design and balance and all those things.
Yeah.
And then I'm not saying that you shouldn't lift humans with cranes to do tree work.
Right.
But it's a lot that goes into it, right?
Yeah.
And really from there should be a really good, valid reason that you're doing it.
Yeah.
It should make something safer.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. We always do that default, like when there's no safer way.
Right.
And then who gets to decide the no safer way? And I'm like, well, you get to decide yours, and I have to decide mine. And if we're doing this together, guess what? I think they have to jive. We got to make this match up here.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times you can, depending on how the work is going and the structure and flow of the job, you can justify it through fatigue or fatigue reduce, right?
Yeah.
But I think a lot of guys just take it for granted. Like you said, they pull the truck in, stick the little tiny boom up there, put the climber in, and then pull out. It's like that. Yeah. No, that's not that. You're pushing the envelope. And it's not me trying to be, Mr. Safety or you should check all your legislative boxes, but people die.
Oh yeah.
Off the end. You and I both know good arborists that have come off of a hook.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not something to be taken, lightly.
No, not at all. I mean, that's one of those. We were talking earlier that having my insurance meeting that was supposed to be before this, and now it's going to be after this. Every year when we do this, and the question for the crane companies always are, what's the most expensive thing you lift? Because they need to check a box on their paperwork to put a number in there. And every time for all my years doing this, I've always said, well, what value do you put on human life? And they just every time it's just like, what?
Huh?
And it's like and we all pretend to not even understand the question then, and then it always gets switched over to, and I hope no insurance agents are listening to this show because we may be causing ourselves some grief or them. I don't know. But you and I both know that, hey, I'll talk about it. If there's a problem, we should fix it, not hide from it. So this is the current actual problem in our industry right now is what value is on that guy that I'm going to put up into the tree, and I don't know that I could ever actually be insured for enough, So
no, I can't. It is my hope that insurance will solve one day. Insurance will help solve a lot of the fly-by-night tree companies that do things knowingly ignorant, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Just to cut corners, just to do things less expensive, just to get a job. Because if you can't get insurance, that it's the easiest way to hit a bad tree company in the pocketbook.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And my hope is that someday, the average homeowner or the average tree owner or tree manager understands this and uses insurance coverage as a discriminating factor.
Right.
To be like
that
that sounds
$1,000 guy just got booted off the job. Huh?
Well, you go out and you look at a job and it's like, that sounds great. I'm going to need to see, your crane certificates and your insurance certificates and make sure that everything's on the up and up here, and it use that as a deciding factor because you don't pay for your insurance. Your clients do.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
100%.
It's just part of the bill, right? That's where the big default comes in. Is that
It's kind of funny that even the way you said that, it's because like my crane insurance is based off of not the crane, it's based off of my bottom line. It's gross. Yeah. That gross profit line is what determines my insurance rate. So you're exactly right. My customers are the ones paying the crane or the insurance. Yeah.
Even the little bit of insurance I carry for the subcontract work I do, it's based on my bottom line, not the finding an insurance company was fun, right? Like you do what?
Yeah.
Huh? Mm-hmm. Like really? And then my what I pay per year is based on how much business I do.
Oh yeah.
And not to do with the risk.
Yep. Right? Yeah, the exposure. Yeah.
The exposure to it. But, and then I don't think enough people understand enough about the amount of regulation to be a crane operator for certain, stick boom and different types of crane. It's a thing. You just don't buy one to start running. Well, you can just buy one and run down the road.
Right.
You can.
Right. You can. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
like
just like anything till you have to answer for your decisions you've made.
Right. And I'm sure, like I said, we won't name names on the podcast, but there's a tree company in this area that's broken to crane, booms, snapped, not licensed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, there's a little more that goes into it than just hooking it to the crane. Right?
Yep. I had a really good customer that they made that decision. They wanted to purchase their own crane. They found one. They asked me, and I don't care. And I want to see everybody just be safe and survive every day. Than it's not about me losing a customer. I'd hate to lose a friend instead. Right. So I was helping them. Going over the crane, everything's great. Yeah, that's a great one. When they got to the insurance part of it, and I don't know what insurance company they were using. The insurance company would not give them an insurance policy until they showed that they had a certified operator on staff. So I was like, that's a great insurance company you have there.
Yeah, really.
I mean, mine asked for it after the fact, but they still asked for it at least.
Right.
But yeah, to not even allow them or to at least put that roadblock in there until they actually did the steps that require, to have that certified operator has to be on the books here, otherwise that piece of equipment is not going to be insured by us, and therefore we will not insure the rest of your company either. So yeah, they kind of can pull those leverage pieces out. I mean, it's like when we register a car, you have to have insurance to register the car. So, yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. And like I said, I applaud that because that, in what I've seen over the last 30 years of good businesses, any good business, but in the arboricultural world, is that doing the right things the right way to protect people, to protect yourself, and insurance is part of that. Insurance isn't necessarily about, oh God, I'm going to get sued. It's about protecting yourself, protecting your investment, protecting your workers, all those things. When those things are in place, then a lot of other things have to be in place, which leads to better business structure, and then it's a fairer market, right?
100%.
It's never really upset me when we've looked at, like, I see a job that I really want to do, like, oh, that'll be cool to prune that tree, but another tree company gets it, as long as we're comparing apples to apples.
Yeah,
that doesn't bother. It's when it's like, the work isn't going to be done well. The tree is not going to receive the care it really needs, and that the person is probably paying too much for what they're going to get, and they're nice people.
Yeah. That's definitely a across the board thing that we all see. That it's like as long as sometimes you hear the names of the other companies bidding on it or whatever, and you go, okay, I'm comfortable with that. And then sometimes it's you hear that one name gets thrown in the mix, and you're like, well, I know we're not getting it because if this guy's already asked for that many proposals or whatever estimates, he's price shopping, and it went to that guy just because. But
we would be remiss not to mention and then hence shamelessly plug the Crane School. And the history of the Crane School, right? And so I think I know most of the story, but how did the Crane School come into what it is today from where it started?
Yeah, more of my presentation coming out here.
That's
so
all right. Well,
great.
It's a precursor.
It's a practice run here. Perfect. 2011 was the first crane safety climber school. I think at that time we called it Advanced Climber School, I think was the first name, because technically it is kind of the advanced climbing part of it. It came about just because there was, like I said earlier, I had that privilege of working with the best and the worst, and I easily identified my days that were way less stressful, way smoother, just everything was going like butter, and the guys that were doing it, and I was friends with everybody at that point because we were working together a lot, we got to that point where we started joking like, hey, we should teach this stuff like that. This is going so good. We should teach this stuff. And it was just joking at that point. And then I always say I hate naming the names, but this guy Mark over in New Jersey,
That guy.
That guy.
Former guest. Look at him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, great guest. He actually, like, I had the idea of doing this training event, essentially, not knowing that it was going to turn into, but I wanted to take all these guys that did it really well, and if I could get them all to come together and I show up with a crane and we could actually teach the people that don't do it well, like, that would be awesome, you know. And then Mark did one with Mayor up in Massachusetts, I think it was. Yeah. And when, I think at that time, I might have been like when I got the TCIA magazine, you know, and the first thing I opened up to, and I was like, oh, he did it. Dang it. Now I have to do it. If he can do it, anybody could do it. So why not me, you know? So I quickly kind of got everything together. It was actually at Pendel, 2011. So that was February, early February, I think, is when we were that year. Gene McMillan was the president of the chapter. So kind of everybody was in the room or in the building at least. So I was able to do one of those, like, let me run over here, grab Mike. Say, hey, we've been talking about this. You want to do it? Steve Schreiner was actually there. I ran over to him. I said, hey, Steve, if I wanted to do this thing, would you help facilitate it? Like, you know, basically give me like your employee, Mike Livingston, and his bucket truck and maybe a truck and chip or two, because that would be really cool. And Steve was always very supportive of the whole idea and whatnot. So Pete, if you can pull this off, I'll 100% get behind you on that. And Joe Derscavage was there with Bandit and Modern and whatnot. I ran over to him and said, Joe, you know, I got this idea. And he said, all right. And Joe was always like, he said, well, as long as Bandit is the sole chipper provider for the course, yeah, we're 100% behind it. I was like, well played, sir. Well played.
Classic Joe.
Yeah. So, but he got, and hey, Bandit supported us, gave us a brand new chipper. So, you know, we didn't even, you know, need to borrow somebody's and whatnot. And we put this whole thing together and ran the course in March. So from February to March, kind of not necessarily pre-internet, but I remember printing like trifold pamphlets to advertise. I mean, I know I did get a hold of Mark and I said, hey, how can I post this on Tree Buzz? Because, you know, that was, I think that might have been our main source at that point, you know, 2011, the Facebook really wasn't the thing yet. So, so Mark shared it on Tree Buzz for me, and I think, and whatnot. And we got the whole thing together. I think we got all of like 11 students together, but we had the guy came up from Kentucky or Tennessee. I think he was from Tennessee, but we called him Kentucky because that's what his accent sounded more like to us. So,
right.
And the kid's actually really, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but really great guy. And you know, for years afterwards, if he sees me at Expo, he will come up and say hi. And so the first class just went so well. Ridley Creek State Park, took down a couple trees. We got it all together, and then it just somebody in like our, if you want to call it an after action report, you know, or kind of wrap up talk, one of the students actually said, like, you know, what you guys did here was like really great. You probably saved somebody's life, because I did not realize how bad we were doing things, you know. And it's just like that mention of saving somebody's life kind of like got me right in the feel spots kind of thing. And I was just like, oh man, like we're saving lives now. Like how'd this become part? I thought we were just having fun here.
I just didn't want to pull my hair out next time these companies call me for a tree job.
I just wanted an easy day, you know, not all this saving lives thing. Got real deep all of a sudden and whatnot. But it definitely caught wheels right out the gate there then and whatnot. And we grew every year to a point that we realized we grew too much. I forget which year it was that we had like 60 students. It's still only a once a year event. It's just because of what it takes to go into it, all the sponsorship and whatnot, that it's hard, too much to do multiple times a year. It's not a moneymaker. It's not why I'm doing it. It's I hope I don't lose my butt kind of thing. Asking
Right.
favors from everybody I know. Hope I don't run out of favors. And we basically got to that point where 60 was too much, and we backed it down a little bit because the whole point is you can't do hands-on training with too many people all at once.
Right.
I mean, I know you've been there, done that kind of thing with and with crane school too. You're there. You've hit most of the years.
Most of them.
Yeah.
When I'm around.
Yeah. But it's that hitting that key spot we found is like 8 to 9 actual climbers working with the crane gets us that good rotation of guys so that everybody can get up in the tree at each station and make a pick. So, but yeah, it really came from that whole, some guys do it great. Let's help everybody do it great. So.
Well, it's, the crane school has turned into that. It started as a training program. Now it's sort of turned into a great training program, but also like a social event. And
for sure.
Well, I've always just called them in tree work tribal gatherings, right? Like the tree climbing comps were always much more of a tribal gathering than they were a climbing comp after all. Because last 5 years I competed, I was just going because I wanted to see y'all.
Right. Oh yeah.
I wasn't good enough to win shit. I'd spent a decade proving I ain't good enough to win.
Right.
I wanted the last 5 years to just hang out.
Yeah.
But it's turned into that, which is good because you get those repeat customers. But so if anybody's listening that's not aware, it's 2.5 days, usually spring, April, May, eastern part of Pennsylvania. It's and I would say this, and I know I'm biased, but I would say it from the outside looking in, it is probably the best hands-on crane removal course in the country that I'm aware of.
I agree.
It is. It just because and essentially it's structured so you'll have anywhere from 6 to 8 different cranes ish, depending.
Yeah, the site set
right.
up. Yeah,
the site set up, and then it's everything from stick booms, standard. Yep. Most of your cranes and your operators are there, and then you have some K booms or some knuckle booms in there.
Yep.
And the students come in; they're separated into groups, and then you go around. So each student group will spend about a half a day with that particular crane. Yep. And if you don't get up in the tree twice, it's your fault.
100%.
And most students will get up 3, if not at an individual station. So multiply that by 4.
Right.
So you're looking at easily making 8 picks, in a highly supervised,
right. Zero
tight,
stress,
situation on real trees. Like these things are really, it's not little daddy. Can I help you trees? It's
Yep. No, this is legit. Yeah, the sites are. It's like all tree work. The tree almost gets to dictate how cool the job is.
Right.
But with that, I know now, like over all these years, like I hunt down the sites that it doesn't just have to work for the site; it has to work for us. And that's a big part of it. Find that all the pieces.
Yeah, and having run crane courses all over the place. The crane courses are the hardest to run because, well, one, you need cranes, which it's not easy to just get a crane. Like it doesn't just happen, right? And the other thing is then you really need that site. Well, then you really need that site, right? So, and I've done private, or smaller crane trainings, but they're the exception, not the rule. It's just so much logistics, so much logistics and preps gets into it that now you. Oh, so crane company, they want to train 8 guys, and it's like $2,000 per person because it's just price is price. Like I can't just pull the crane, and and that's why I think with the crane school, not only is and like I said, I know I'm biased, but I would say this regardless if I wasn't involved. Not only is the quality of the hands-on trigger time you get and experience there, but just the price is you just can't. You can't touch it.
Yeah, and that's why it can only be that once a year thing. I mean, the amount, like Kim is really the one that puts so much. Like I feel like my part's kind of easy because I just have to like do my crane thing, Right. And then finding the site. So we'll spend the weekends, and then Kim gets to put all that extra time and effort. She's built the website. She handles the registration, all the things. That's also the other thing. It kind of became like that unicorn event out there that because of the limited space and the once a year and we try to keep it that way. That's a whole nother fun thing for us is like how I think the fastest we sold out was like 28 minutes, from the opening of registration. I mean, it slowed down a little bit in the last couple of years, but there was a couple of years there where it was like, man, when she opened that, it was like the floodgate just opened because everybody is trying to get in kind of thing, and there's limited spots. So first come, first serve. We're gonna stick. We actually had that discussion with somebody last night. Trying to do that. 6 months out, can I prepay, hold my spot for the course and whatnot? And unfortunately, no, can't. Not going to do it.
Well, there's a lot to be said for that because, like I said, it is a logistically heavy event. Sure. And to try and do more of them, well, now you might as well just start a business that runs crane school.
Right.
And it just, so you keep it once a year, and then it's far better to have the quality and not have it diluted out. And there's other schools around. I know that Devin has done some stuff up in Ontario, and he's doing good stuff up there.
Oh, and I'll go up and help him out with it.
And Mark still does some stuff, and Hans is doing some stuff in Jersey and stuff around. Although his tends to be more on the crane end of it.
Right. Yeah, you just the certification class.
And there's good courses out there, but when people ask me for crane training, I say hands down, just like if anybody doesn't know, if you want the information, get on your website, craneman.com, right?
Cranemaninc.com.
Cranemaninc.com.
And Crane Safety Climber School actually has its own website now, too.
It doesn't? Okay.
Yeah, cranesafetyclimberschool.com.
Right. And that'll get all the information. Like I said, it's first come, first serve when the registration opens up. And then you can register as a climber or as a grounds person still, too, right? So if you register as a little bit different rate, which is actually an idea I stole from you for some of my own training courses.
Because
I
don't think it was my idea. I think it just was an idea.
It happened.
Yeah.
I stole it anyway.
Okay.
So basically what that means is that if you register yourself as a climber, you're going to hang from a crane and make cuts. If you register yourself as a ground guy, you're not going to do that. You're going to attend everything, have access to everything, but you're not same class, but you're not going up into a tree to pick. And it makes a lot of sense because sometimes that's just not your job duty, right?
Oh yeah, and I think for us it kind of naturally occurred that way because the sales reps, the bosses, there was other people that are heavily involved with the process wanted to be involved, and rightfully so. I mean, I've said that many a time that, sometimes when the job actually tanked at the sale of the job, right out the gate, this thing was doomed because the wrong information was put forward or not enough of the right information was put forward. So educating everybody is a huge part of it for me. I mean, I've gotten very zen lately and whatnot, and some of those cheesy quotes like the true master isn't a master unless he has students, right? You have to have students. So exactly. We need everybody to be involved, kind of thing, and educate. I mean, and we too, as well as anybody, your ground guy can tank your job for you just as well as the sales rep.
I tell people now, I'm like, you can be the best climber in the world. If I'm on the ground for you, I can make you look like an idiot. It is so easy.
I'm just going to leave all this stuff lay here for a while.
And I'm going to throw some of it on your gear. I'm going to knot it up in your rope. Probably going to shut your bucket truck off and screw with your outriggers. It's so easy to
do all these things. So if we can educate the whole team involved, I think that's going to give us our best outcome.
Yeah, well, it's important. I've done so many different types of training courses, not just crane, but climbing and chainsaw. Like, man, I wish my boss was here to know this, right? Well, and then when you structure it like you do, so you can have, because that's what I get a lot of times. Like when I do a chainsaw course or something, I might offer a different rate if you're not cutting. You're just going to come and hang out. You're not really going to do the hands-on portion.
Yeah.
Because I can only handle so many people running a chainsaw in one class, right? I got to limit that.
Yeah.
But I could have 20 people watching me. Doesn't matter. Right. And opening that up, because a lot of times the supervisor, they need to see that too, right? Oh, that's why they're doing that. Or, oh, that's what competent work looks like. Right? That's,
I never knew that could start that saw so smoothly.
I didn't know you didn't have to risk your life to get up that tree. It's so that it is a really good way to go about it. And if there's anybody listening that does training courses or organizes training courses, I highly encourage you to steal that idea too.
Oh yeah, yep.
Because it does work well, right? It just does to.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, it becomes a holistic process because it's one thing to train the person that's running the chainsaw, but if you can train the person that's supervising the person that's running the chainsaw, and even train the person that assigns the person to run the saw, then now you can really start to make a difference, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's if only we could figure out how to educate the customers.
All right. Well, that is we're working on it.
Right.
Working on it.
It's funny because that's like a double-edged comment from me because the tree guys are my customers.
Right.
So I am educating my customers is making my job easier kind of thing. So yeah,
absolutely.
It is by default that trickle down because everybody else says, well, on your job. I said, no. I don't have jobs. Because I'm always the subcontractor. I'm always working for somebody else. I'm simply, I think God put me on this earth to assist. You know, that's been my role this whole time. It's like I am just here to lend a hand. You know, a hook. I can pick things up and put them down and do it all day long, and I do it pretty mediocrely okay. So yeah,
that's a good way to go about it. I always tell you run into people every once in a while ask me, not too many people ask me for advice because most people know they don't want my advice. But I tell it's like if you don't know what to do in life, if you don't really know, if you're kind of in that spot where at any point you're like just sort of go be of service to somebody else. Right? Oh yeah. Just go do something for somebody else that's helpful. Because at the very least, you at least help somebody, right?
Right, yeah.
At the very least, you might spend your whole life working, doing the dumbest stuff. Right. But if you've helped people along the way, then it has value, right?
Yeah.
So when you don't know what to do in life, just go be of service.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just find what needs to be done and do that you're reasonably competent at.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a great mantra to go with. Just help somebody. You know?
Just help somebody. Just be of service.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a corollary question to our first question that we often ask too, and that is, and I'll phrase it my way, Dwayne always phrases it a little bit differently, what have you learned from trees and or arboriculture that applies to other aspects of your life, and how you run your show, whether it be business or personal?
The trees have taught me almost too many lessons to count kind of thing. But I think a favorite is that no two trees are the same. You know, one of my little, spiels is I've never taken down the same tree twice, and I think that it's like at a higher level, that deeper meaning to the whole concept is just be aware that they're all different. Every tree is going to be different. You're going to see similarities, just like the people. Hey, he's got 2 legs and 2 arms. Look, he walks around, but his attitude's horrible. So do not engage. Some of the trees, it's like, wow, it's beautiful, but look at how rotten the base is, or the fruiting bodies on the ground all around it. So yeah, it's not actually great. It's there's flaws, and kind of that observing all the things and being aware of the differences is just like that big life lesson that I like to take away from, and it's a thing. Sometimes I get too deep and think I'm like, does everybody pick up what I'm putting down? Because I'm going too deep on it, and it's like the extra meaning.
I just do what I do, and I just don't think about what they think, and I just keep going.
Yeah, just keep doing your thing.
Just entertain myself.
Your thing. I'm doing my thing. Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going. And people look at you like, why? What? I'm like, Then I know it's getting good.
Right. There's been many a time walking across that trade show floor, and they're sitting there staring at you doing their presentation, and I give them the little nudge and say, "It's just Tony. Just let him do his thing." Right. Yeah. Right. Don't try and understand.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things is when people come back, and like you've said before about helping somebody before, when they come back and say, that thing you told me, I didn't get it when you said it, but I got it later.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The most rewarding thing that's ever happened to me is when people have come back and said, hey, I did it your way, or I did something that you said, or something that you told me, and I didn't get hurt. Right.
I'm
pretty sure that had I stayed the course with my own methods, it was going to end badly.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I think for should be anyway for any trainer out there to get that the feedback of like the light bulb moment came when it was needed. Yeah. And we didn't die. Yeah. So it's definitely a reward there thing. Yeah. Don't even need payment. You got a good feel good thing from it. So yeah.
I think, one thing that I learned pretty early in my career and in life was sometimes the question isn't to ask why would you do it. Yeah. Ask why would you not do it.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. And, that came home to me. It was like 2002 was climbing the Bogachil Spruce. So big tree climb, Olympic Peninsula. Actually, we just had a guest on, Michael Oxman, a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
He organized the whole thing. But anyway, I'm climbing with Knut Fopé. I don't know if you ever met Knut. Knut, German climber.
I don't think I have.
Was still an arborist, but he sort of moved into the tower and that whole high angle end of it. So I don't know how much he does, but Knut. And he's your classic German guy, right? Because when you think of a German guy, it's Knut, right? Yep. He has the accent, super nice guy, great arborist. But anyway, we're going up working our way up this big ass Sitka spruce tree, and like he's always got his lanyard on, like always off and on, like so much so I'm like, I asked him, I said, Knut, well, I always like, we're just sitting here having a drink of water, we're tied in, if you got your lanyard on. He looks at me and he goes, well, why not? Right. Like that got me thinking. I'm like, well, it's a pretty good point actually, right? Like, why wouldn't you put it on, right? Why wouldn't I put it on, right? So I think sometimes when you're looking at a lot of things in life, but especially when it comes to risk or hazard, ask yourself, well, why would you not do it? If there's a reason you would not do it, then maybe you have an argument. Right. But if, like when it comes to the lanyard, if the reason is, well, I just don't feel like it, or it's not long enough, or whatever. Then you really don't have. But if it's like, well, if I'm tied into this tree and it fails beneath me, and now I'd go from climber to rigging. Right. Now maybe you have an argument. Yeah. Right now, maybe you could. So don't ask yourself why. Ask yourself. And that's a phrase I've used a lot. People have come back to me with. That's why I bring it up. Is like they're like, you told me to ask why not, and now I ask why not a lot.
Right. Yeah. And it makes sense. Everybody's asking me why not.
Why not? I don't know. Because I said so.
Yeah. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah, because I said so, and that's
because I said so.
Yeah.
All right, we got one last tradition, but I might have to step up from my chair and go get my book. I'll be right back. I gotta grab a book. It's right. I think it's right
here. Yeah.
If I'm not back in 30 seconds, wait longer.
Okay.
Bummer. I usually get Dr. Shigo's book, Pithy Points. You ever read Dr. Shigo's book, Pithy Points?
I have not. I'm recently more reading than used to, and that one it keeps circling me, but it hasn't landed yet.
Yeah, I have a copy here somewhere. Usually I ask you to pick a number and we read the Pithy Point out. It's been our little tradition, but I don't know where the hell my copy went. It's usually Dwayne's job. So anyway, sorry. Can't do that part.
No Pithy Points with Pete.
Can't do that part out. But it is, Pithy Points is really cool because it just, I don't know if you know the story behind it, but basically whenever you'd see, like when Dr. Shigo would speak or to present, he didn't have, like his notes were these yellow legal pads, and they were just these like scribbled notes, like almost like individual sentences, all these little pieces of things he wanted to talk about, just thoughts. And he'd look down and it would go on. And he basically took those and assembled them into a book of 950. And it's, what's it called? Pithy Points on tree biology, philosophy, and stuff. But it's a great, it's great. It's not like you sit down and read the book. It's more like, it's a great bathroom book.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great bathroom book, right? Just put it right there, where you sit there once or twice a day, have about 5-10 minutes to yourself.
Right.
And you can page through. And sometimes it's highly technical, scientific tree biology, mycology stuff. Right. Other times it's life advice. But anyway, sorry I didn't have my copy. I'm ill prepared.
Right. No. Well, just read number 8 for when you find the book.
I'll post it in the notes. Number 8. I'll look at it. I'll write that down. Where the hell did my pen go? Jesus, my desk is falling apart.
Tony's falling apart on us here.
Falling apart. Not used to being the host. Usually I'm just the tech guy in the background.
The big show with Tony now.
Well, I realize that you got deadlines to go here, and I do appreciate your time. So thanks for coming on with us. I'm sure Dwayne wishes he was here, but
we'll just have to catch Dwayne at another time and another place. And
absolutely, we always reserve the right to call people back because eventually we're going to run out of people that want to talk to us. So
scary thought. Yeah, that's why I keep introducing myself to new people, though. Like even at the gas station, just say hi. My name's Pete.
Right. So you don't run out of friends.
So or things that just people they don't have to be friends even, just people to talk to. I'm fine with strangers.
My problem is I talk to myself a lot because I'm often the most interesting person I know. I guess I don't know what to say about it. I guess that makes me. My daughter says that makes me sound conceited. She might be right.
She could be. Yeah. Well, I appreciate every conversation I think we've ever had, Tony, and
it's been good. I've appreciated it.
And I, as always, leave the conversation looking forward to our next.